Hello and welcome back to Cuphead. This is Strawman Gaming. I'm your Strawman. Had a little break, regained some composure. I hope. So that last episode was very much the episode where I talked about my microphone moved. Oh, I got taller. How dare you, microphone, to mess with me today of all things. Like, yes, last episode was one where I talked about London. This one is going to be the episode where I try not to talk about London. But I'm going to talk about something tangentially related to London. We have rules tangentially related to London, which is flying. I haven't been in a plane in about 7 years. And that was flying to Iceland with Flybe. And, you know, if you've been in a plane in the last probably 5 years, you know what I'm talking about. But every part of flying is better now. Every part of it. You know, I flew out of Edinburgh into Heathrow Terminal 2. I flew out of Heathrow Terminal 5 on a BA flight home. And, you know, when I got to Edinburgh, I was, you know, a yokel. I was a sweet summer child. I didn't realise that, I needed my booking reference. I thought I just walked up to a desk with an ID. And they said, okay, we'll get that sorted for you, sir. But I walked in, and there's no desks. There's only computers. I'm like, but a computer, as yet, can't fill in for my ineptitude. So what do I do here? So I had to, you know, I broke my cardinal rule of being a man, which is I had to ask someone for help. And he said, oh, you need your booking reference, and you type it into the thing, and it'll give you your boarding card, and then you just go through security, and that's you. That's flying completed. All you have to do for the rest of the time is just sit down and be bored. So I did that. And coming back, it was exactly like that, but I checked in online, because that's a thing. And you just get to the airport, and you walk straight through security and straight to your gate. And get on the plane. It's dope. So like, that was easy, and the airports were like... The security in Edinburgh was a bit stressed. You know, I had to go through the full body scanner, and you know, we can talk about invasion of privacy and civil liberty all day long, but people will always hit back with, oh, but terrorism. I'm like, yeah, but you know, if we go for our civil liberties, aren't they kind of winning anyway? But that was because I didn't take my belt off, because there was no sign saying take your belt off, and I've got a big metal buckle on my belt, so I had to go through additional screening. You know, and I'm a very, very obviously white person, so I don't think I was racially profiled in any way. But yeah, so the full body scanner, that was a thing that happened, and you go through it, and, you know, I'm fairly sure the government now has a high-definition picture of me naked that it can use against me in a court of law if it so wanted to. But what's outputted to the agent that searches you is like kind of like a chalk outline of a man with, you know, little squares on it. Like, here is, you know, a dark spot you should perhaps investigate. And then they search you. And, you know, it was fine. The guy's just doing his job. I'm not gonna, you know, he probably doesn't like it any more than I do. He's just punching a clock. But, you know, he didn't make the rules. There's no point being a dick to him. But then you get to the actual plane, which, as you know, I've mentioned I'm 6'3" and I'm pretty heavy. Planes are not a place where people my size can exist with any with any degree of comfort. So I'm like, okay, my knees will normally be about 4 inches into the chair in front. Well, probably realistically 2 inches, but it feels like 4 inches into the chair in front of me. And I will barely be able to squeeze into the seat. Even when I've been thin, I've been fat. Even when I'm thin, I have a very wide frame. You know, I just do not fit in those seats very well. So I was like, okay, here's an hour and a half of... I chased that ball, man. An hour and a half of being extremely uncomfortable. But I sat down and I had like a good 3 inches of leg room on the Flybe flight. It was a... Is it a Bombardier Dash 8 or a de Havilland Dash 8? I can't remember. Propeller plane. It was very nice. It was comfortable and there was width, and you know, there's a person sat next to me, and you know, when you sat next to a fat person on a plane, that's like the kiss of death, because they're going to take up kind of 25% of your space, and you know, and that sucks. I didn't book the ticket. I didn't have the option to book 2 seats, but I didn't actually encroach into her space at all. So I'm like, I feel like they genuinely have added more space to planes, which feels unlikely. You know, we're so driven by cost and profit margins that less people are playing means, you know, less people paying to be on a plane. And you'd have to put prices up to compensate for that. But maybe, you know, people have really started taking user experience seriously because it's a competitive market. I don't know. I got on the plane, I was like, bloody hell, I fit in this seat. You know, and not like I can fit in it, you know, the way you can hammer a round peg into a square hole, or the other way around. But I was like, this is a seat that is designed to accommodate someone of my proportions. And then I flew back on BA, and the seat I was in was A, leather, had even more legroom, even more width, and it was just like a genuinely pleasant place. You know, that they no longer have a free bar, and okay, so I'm sensing these guys don't actually target me, and I keep throwing myself in front of them for no reason, but they're so quick, you kind of have to react to them. And again, maybe I should be smoke dashing. Yeah, they don't have a free bar, but you know, you can get food that is the food they sell you is from Marks and Spencer's, which if you're not from Britain is a very kind of upmarket, certainly for groceries, it's very upmarket. So yeah, those just like flying has always been, and don't get me wrong, it is extremely boring, but it was fine. I came off that plane and onto a bus that dropped me 200 meters from my house, and that was it. That was flying. I wasn't stressed. You know, I wasn't uncomfortable. I wasn't panicked. Or anything. You know, it was just. Did flying become a positive experience? Have we come that far as humans? Is that what's prompted us to put a car in a elliptical orbit out to beyond Mars? You know, alright, we've cracked flying in atmosphere. People can do it, you know, even people that, you know, have bones can be comfortable now. So, what's next? Like, electric cars on Martian injection orbits? I'm like, yeah, brilliant. That is where humanity needs to go next. I support it 100%. So yeah, flying's good now. And you know, I've never even had flying be good. You know, it's I've never shitballed. I've never flown business class. I almost certainly will never fly I might fly business class at some point if I ever get a job. Well, I have a job, but if I ever have a job that values me enough to pay for me to fly business class. Because my current company, I won't say who they are, but they're a large grocery store that, you know, Bitch! Large grocery store that, are kind of scummy and getting scummier every day. So if you follow the news in Britain, that narrows it down to 2. Well, 2-faced, you know, at the minute 2, depending on when you watch this video. But you know, if I ever got a job working, I don't know if I became some, I was gonna say high-flying middle manager. I don't know if such a thing can exist. High-flying manager or brand ambassador, maybe they'll fly me out to, you know, the colonies to represent that brand from our country in theirs. You know, we can dream. But for the time being, business class is off the menu, and first class is for people that have won lotteries or own companies. And I have done neither. But maybe. And again, can you ever justify first class? You know, can something ever cost like £20,000 per hour and truly be worth it? Like, you know, if Coke and Hookers isn't worth £20,000 an hour, can being more comfortable be worth that? Well, I don't know, I guess it's how much your time's worth, isn't it? And how rested you need to be when you get there. Like, if it's important that you arrive there, like, fresh as a daisy, because you're a lawyer and you're defending some Saudi prince from some frivolous lawsuit, then yeah, perhaps it's worth it, but I think in the vast majority of cases, it's very hard to make a case for first class being a... What? Oh my god, my brain is a piece of trash. I pressed Y to do the bloody super move. So just look at the art style in this game's nice, otherwise this would be extremely tedious to watch this over and over and over again. And the good thing about games is, and Dara O'Brien talked about this, no other medium does this, where if you're just not good at it, you will not see all of it. You know, you can never get halfway through a book. And, you know, this is Dara O'Brien's bit and I'm going to butcher it, so... But as long as I, you know, cop to that, then I can get away with it, it's fine. You never read a book and there's an exam halfway through, you've not been paying enough attention and failed, they won't let you read the rest of the book. You know, you can always finish media, you can always finish a film, you can always finish a TV series. Assuming it's not on HBO or Sky Go and completely unobtainable because that service is terrible and only works on legacy technology that most people don't have anymore. Looking at you, Microsoft Silverlight, which Microsoft doesn't even support anymore. But Sky Go is still entirely wed to for some idiotic consumer experience dating reason. Yes, video games. You can just go, oh, you paid for all of this, but you're a bit shit? Well, today is not your lucky day, my son. Because you are a pleb. And not... Don't do me like this. Fuck me! Fuck me dead. Seriously, come on, man. I can't do that last... And you get no chance to practice it, because, you know, that's my 4th time. I've done this bit 4 million times. You know, it's a kind of a step down rate of an order of magnitude for every single phase. I've done this 4 million. I've done the next bit 400,000 times. You know order of magnitude, so that's fine. And I'm still bad at this bit. Wait, there you go. Oh, you stupid... What is happening? I'm getting flooded. I'm only 12.5 minutes in. I really need to go back to the BP car gravity-defying level. Now that I have the homing shot, I think those floating jacks will be a little bit easier to deal with. Yep, avoided me, lovely. Go here. Yes, okay. I came into it with 3 health and frittered it away in literally 5 seconds. Like, I think of the 4 things that could have hit me, 3 of them did. That is the standard I'm working to. I am... Oh, I hate this phase. I really, really hate this phase. Yeah, that's... I remember in Fight Club they have that kind of recurring bit, like, I am... Just end me. It's never gonna happen. I am Jack's, you know, Is it parts of his mind or is it parts of his body? I think the Reader's Digest he's reading has it as parts of his body. But the narrator has it as components of his psyche, like I am Jack's complete lack of surprise or something like that. Whereas, you know, it's... In the Reader's Digest it's like I am Jack's sclerosis liver or whatever. Bitch. This match will get red hot. I remember telling this. I'm like, I hope we don't get any bosses that just like ruin your life for hours on end. Because A, bad content. B, you know, dying of a stroke. And I think that's all, you know, the 2 rules of YouTube are don't make bad content, and the general rule of life is try and avoid dying of a stroke. The thing is, I'm not that angry. Like, you see some people play this, and I genuinely feel like a blood vessel in their head is gonna, like, pop. Whereas I'm just annoyed. I'm just like, just do the thing! Just, I don't want to be doing this boss anymore. You know, it's more, it's more like flying used to be, where, you know, you're on the plane and you're not... Your life isn't at risk, but you're just like, I don't want to be here anymore, and I've fallen asleep and I've woken up and I'm only... missed 2 hours of a potential 11-hour flight, and I'm just unhappy. That's me. I am flying before 2018 or whatever those changes I spoke about came in, and having been... I'm I played with fire and I didn't get burnt, but then immediately after I got burnt. Well, I'm going to do this bit just because practice. To avoid getting shot in the face. There's so little Why? So little telegraph. Other than you know he's going to do it, he's a total bastard. And I can't even use the homing shield, because even if it does pop when it hits them, it sprays out bullets in the cardinal direction, so it'll just hit me twice. Well, it'll hit me once, because even if the first one does damage, I have invincibility frames for the second one, but still, it's of literally no benefit. Wacky. Boom. Do it again. Wacky. Boom. Lovely. I hope that's expedited this process hugely. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh, I deserve to get hit there. But I didn't. Fortune favors the bold. Which is what stupid people say. They have no talent. Or maybe it's true. I don't know. Maybe I have so little talent that I have to tear down ways in which other people explain the world around them. Could be. That feels like something I'd do. Especially just end me. So just wait it out. Okay. Waiting it out. Wait until they jump and then jump. Because even if they're coming my way, I'll always go higher. That's the thing when you... Careful now, squat. Oh, I'm gonna fall off this cloud. A second cloud! Bitch ass, bitch. There's the Greek myth of that man that was chained to a... who was it? Prometheus. Chained to a rock, and a bird who was immortal, and every day an eagle came down, ate his liver. Yeah, I'm relating to a lot of Greek myths suddenly. You know, there's that. There's, was it Sisyphus? Had to push a rock up a hill all day and it would roll down on top of him. That's me. I'm Sisyphus and Prometheus combined. But I haven't stolen the fire from the god. I'm getting blasted in the face with it. Blasted in the face if I'm lucky. I think that's an Always Sunny reference. Well, it's, the use of blasted in pseudo-sexual context is something Dennis does. So I'm calling it a reference. I need my Always Sunny cred. Oh. I'm gonna drink, you jerk. That is me that pressed retry while I was still drinking. Bam. Okay. Anything to expedite. Bam. Bam. Almost anything to expedite. I'm planning to play Dark Souls 3 after this, and this is honestly making me look forward to it. Because, even in the... it's not Isolith. Illithil? Even in the Illithil dungeons. That's an area of that game that sucks balls. It was never like this. I think I took 3 deaths to get through the dungeons. And some really irritating enemies, don't get me wrong, but you have to play them in a very specific style, but it's not... You make a single mistake early on and you cannot complete it. It's, just... do a thing with, a reasonable amount of consistency and you'll be fine. Whereas this is I want to be very clear, I don't have a problem with this fight in the first 4 phases. But I think that last phase is utter dog shit. I really hope there's not some really obvious strategy that I've missed this entire time. If I haven't done it by the end of this episode, I will go and watch someone else do it and see if there is a strategy I'm missing. Maybe I'm not using dash enough, in that I'm not using dash at all. know. That would certainly seem to be a thing I should be doing that I'm not doing. Oh my goodness. You prick! He's dead! How dare you! This is why no one invites you to Christmas. Punch! One head, and this would be difficult.
A brawl is surely brewing. You're up.
But 3 heads? I'm hoping it's like, if I can kill one of them, maybe it gets progressively easier. Just the first phase is like a baptism of fire, and you gradually wean yourself off. Wean yourself off. Yeah. I'll just not go anywhere with that. Don't. Thank you. Top class platforming there. And it's also giving me a new appreciation for dead cells, because at least when you restart in that, something different's happening. I'm not just doing this again and again and again, chained to my rock, while also pushing that same rock up a hill. Greeks had some weird myths, man. And what does it mean, store fire from the gods? You know, is it literal fire, or is it a bigger metaphor about technology? Who knows? Or is it a terrible movie based on the Alien franchise that has H.R. Geiger spinning in his grave? I didn't even see that coming. I didn't hear it. I would stake good money, and by good money I mean almost no money at all, on the fact that there was no audio prompt before that. Oh, don't do it too early. I felt like I was seeing it a little bit there. Like, I've been trying to do too much too soon and see the whole of the moon, but in truth I just need... to, like, relax. Maybe... Because I really want to use the homing shots. I don't want those things to be blowing up all around me. Okay, it's ball number 1. 22. 2... swans. What is it? 2 swans? 2 little ducks? Lovebirds? I don't know. Ball number 4. 88. 2 fat ladies. Whackety. Get away from me, tail. Ball numbers 12. 11. 2 emaciated penguins. I don't know. I'm gradually losing the will to live here. Please. Just... moron. Bitch-ass. Idiot. Stupid. Fuckboy. Moron. And as hard as this game is, and don't get me wrong, it's pretty tough. People need to go and play Volgar the Viking. Volgar the Viking is... this is surmountable. This is just like... this needs solved, and I shall defeat it. Volgar the Viking is completely beyond... manage... okay, so did they do it 4 times? No! No! Fireman! I haven't... okay. Balls. Oh! Okay. Yeah, Volgar the Viking. Go and play that!
This match will get red hot.
Enemy moves even simpler than this, and it's just a hellish... it's just a nightmare, man. That's a good omen. Oh, here comes a better one. Okay, good. I'm restarting that. 25 minutes. 5 minutes until I can go back and go with my life. They've just added Fargo Season 3 to Netflix. And I'm always, like, when Fargo Season 1 came out, I was like, oh, I don't know. Martin Freeman as a Minnesotan, which is a very distinctive American accent, and he's a very obviously British actor, and he was great. And Billy Bob Thornton is like this kind of unstoppable evil. Great. Loved Fargo season 1. Then season 2 came out, and I'm like, these is different people, you know. The people that I learned to love from the first one aren't in it. You know, because it's set in a different time period. There's no spoilers in that statement or anything like that. It's just, it's not set then. I was like, oh, who's this guy? You know, Ted Danson, he's you know, not exactly relevant these days, but he was actually really good in it. And then you've got this new guy, it's a cop called Lou. I was like, I'm not sure. And I think it's better than this first season. I genuinely thought it was an excellent, weird, fairly, I don't care, I'm keeping going, deep piece of TV. And now it's season 3, and I'm exactly the same. I'm like, I don't know these fools. So therefore, you know, I don't want to watch this. But I'm really trying to get past that, because I understand it's excellent as well. I enjoyed the movie too, which kind of all this derives from, but is much older. Okay, so there's literally no hope. Well, there's always hope. You don't have to believe in hope. Which is a quote from, I've only heard someone else in a different piece of media attribute to a piece of media I haven't seen. Oh, there we go, there's the last bit of hope. This guy's got a lisp or a stutter. And I want to make fun of him for it, but I don't want to be, you know, ableist.
A great slam and then some.
Just having a stutter's a problem. And, you know, there's that great piece of footage from that teacher that watched the King's Speech and how they dealt with him having a stutter in that and got his own student to do it, and it worked. He could suddenly speak in public, and it was a really powerful thing. You know, because a stutter is quite, can be quite socially crippling. Not because, you know, if you stutter, you are exiled from society, but it can make you very self-conscious. So I don't want to make fun of people with stutters. I want to make fun of this dragon because he's a bastard, but also happens to have a stutter, so it's a piece of low-hanging fruit. And you know, and that's still wrong. It's just like, how is he different from me, other than being, you know, I was going to say an extinct reptile, you know, a mythical creature that breathes fire and flies, and is a total shit. So other than those things, you know, what could I possibly like pull out of the bag to use to make fun of him? You know, the stutter. You know, one of his least meaningful qualities. I don't know. If you've got a stutter, don't be self-conscious about it. I know that was meaningless. It's like, oh, if you're afraid of the dark, don't be. It's a meaningless statement, but I guess it's useful to have someone tell you it's okay to have the thing you've got, you know? It's always good for someone to be confident and comfortable with who they are. And if, you know, if one kid ever watched this video in 4 years and was like, oh, no one's ever explicitly said it's okay to have a stutter, then that's a great thing. Will it ever happen? Probably not, but could do. You know? As Michael Scott said, you miss 100% of the... Is it Stott? As Michael from The Office said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I'm well aware that Wayne Gretzky said that. That's part of the joke inherent in that reference. Don't try and out-normie me with your Office references. A show I haven't seen. I've seen enough memes on Reddit to kind of piece together probably 80% of what happens. Some guy flirts the receptionist and there's a long heartbreak, but then they get together and it's great. And one time he pretends to be Asian to mess with a guy who seems like kind of an asshole. But like, not like a big asshole, not like he'd stab you in a dark alley, but just kind of a dick. So yeah, that's pretty much The Office. And Michael's not a very effective boss, but he genuinely cares about his staff. He's just not a very good manager of people or resources. That's my impression of The Office anyway. And I would watch it, but it's not available on any of the streaming services I have, which is Netflix and Amazon Prime. Unless it's on Amazon, I haven't checked. I don't think it's on Amazon Prime in the UK. Plus, I've got Fargo Season 3 to watch, and Altered Carbon. Why jump into that? I'm quite excited about Altered Carbon. It looks weird. And weird's good. So add that to the list of things it's okay to be, along with having a stutter. okay to be weird. All my favorite people are weird. Are you gonna pull out some new bullshit? Oh, well, that was some distinctly old bullshit, actually. Fuck! Excuse my language. Okay, but we're starting to see it there. Like, just do less. The gin has run out and the hate has returned. But we're at 31 minutes. I'm getting the episode there. If you enjoyed the episode, hit that like button, leave a comment down below saying what you liked about it. If you didn't like the episode, hit that dislike button, leave a comment down below saying what you didn't like about it. And when you content every single day, so want to see more, hit that subscribe button. It's been Strawman Gaming. I'm your Strawman, and I will see you tomorrow.
I'm Mr. King Dice. I'm the gamest in the land. I never play nice. I'm the devil's right-hand man. I can't let you pass, 'cause you ain't done everything.